record button. Right, I'm doing the Facebook Live, so from now on, just be careful. Jeremy, go.
Hi, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the last in the series of Women in Rugby webinars, of course, all in aid and in support of the Chris Berger Petra Jackson Players Fund. We're going to talk a bit more about how the evening is going to roll itself out, but this is just a very quick word of welcome to all of our Facebook viewers, all of our Facebook guests who are watching right now, and just a sort of a green light, an invitation for you to set up as many watch parties as you possibly can and share the link to tonight's live streaming. It's certainly going to be very interesting, and from what's been happening in the green room before we go live, certainly sounds like it's going to be lots of fun. Opportunities to win, and we'll talk all about that in a short while. So once again, welcome to you all, and enjoy tonight's show.
Okay, Jeremy, I'm opening the waiting room. I'll just let you know when everyone is in. But we've still got 2 minutes to go. Right. Yours, Jeremy.
Hi, good evening, everybody, and welcome to number 4. It's the fourth out of 4 series of Women in Rugby webinars that's been set up by the team out at the Chris Berger Petra Jackson Players Fund. And we've had 3 weeks of some very entertaining, very insightful, some stories never been told before, experiences across our previous guests, and certainly tonight promises to be more of the same. Certainly lots of laughter in the green room beforehand, so we're looking forward to an entertaining evening. My name's Jeremy Harris. I'm going to be the MC. That's what it says officially on my access card, but I'm going to be introducing you very quickly, of course, to our 2 guests, the 2 ladies who will be talking as our Women in Rugby guests for this evening. I'm not going to do a very detailed introduction in terms of their backgrounds. That I will leave to our interviewer-in-chief. And in fact, my role is to interview her, not to interview her, introduce her sort of more meaningfully. But before I get to that, just a little bit of housekeeping that I've got to get through. The first thing to point out for everybody here this evening is the fact that this is a recorded broadcast. It's a recorded viewing. And so for those of you who are uncomfortable with the fact that it's recorded and you don't want your face to be shown, then certainly you just need to turn your camera off, leave the audio on, you'll still be able to enjoy what's being offered to you. So just turn your camera off and you won't have your face shown. There's opportunities though for you to benefit from your face being shown. There's a dance cam, a kiss cam. Nobody's actually really kissed, to be honest, over the last 3 weeks. But I mean, if that's what you need to do, then you need to do that, because you will walk away with an amazing prize. And I'll talk to you about those prizes a little bit later. The Chris Berger Petra Jackson Fund, as I said at the outset, that is the hero of the piece. That is why we are here. We want to celebrate with them, commemorate with them 40 years of some amazing work that they've done. They've touched the lives of so many people over those 40 years. Currently, 107 recipients of the fundraising efforts from the Chris Berger Petra Jackson Players Fund. And I just want to be able to use this opportunity to, and in fact, if Terry, if you won't mind, just putting up the donate slide on the screen right now, just to offer you the opportunity, whilst the evening is free, to maybe consider donating to the fund. There you'll see the very easy ways to donate. There's an opportunity just to do a straightforward EFT, but SnapScan and Zapper certainly also available as a means of donating. 10 Rand, 110 Rand, whatever it is, I can tell you that the money will be put to good use. It will be gratefully received. 40 years done and dusted, but certainly 40 more years at least is what the team will have set themselves as an objective in terms of being able to, continue the good work that they have already done so far. Also, as you will see, BrightRock, one of the main sponsors of this evening. And so just a word of thanks to Suzanne and Kaylee from Team BrightRock, just to thank them, certainly, as it is the case, just generally in terms of events, in terms of sport in this modern world that we live in. We need to say thank you to them. They've been long-term supporters of the Players Fund, and certainly they recognize the massive changes that have happened in the lives of the 107 current recipients of the fund. And they, as BrightRock, are sponsors of the series. And I think it's important to note, folks, that the 107 recipients obviously benefit from all of the funds being raised by the fund, but it's 107 families also that benefit as well. So it's so much good work and such a huge telling impact that the fund is able to bring to bear across those people's lives and across their families, and just to give them so much more quality of life. So once again, an opportunity to donate. Make a note of that. I'm going to remind you a little bit later. Tell you what we should do now, though, is get stuck into our talk and our chat this evening. As I said, I'm not going to be introducing Saskia Snyman and Layla Kolbe. I'm just going to mention them by name very quickly. Obviously, the names will be very familiar to you. They are the much better halves, the much better looking halves of RWC Snyman and Cheslin Kolbe. And they will spend some time with our interviewer-in-chief. Sounds very arduous, but I can tell you, I know this person very well. I know this lady very well, a friend and a former colleague. We've certainly spent many years together working in what is both our passions, sport. But I think it's fair to say that, you shouldn't do something in life, whether it's as a sporting venture or get into sport or get into a job. If you can help it, try to do something where you have a real passion for it. And I think it's fair to say that this particular person has a passion for sport and for rugby in particular in bucket loads. It comes through, there's the smile, there's the energy in the voice, and there's the wide knowledge that she brings to just about every interview and every opportunity to cover the sport. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I hand over to the lady who will crack the whip for this evening. And I certainly like it when she does that. My good friend, Cato Louw.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Why did you ever tell me these things in real life?
No, I can only do it behind the scenes.
Come on. Thank you so much for having me tonight, and thank you for the awesome introduction, Jeremy. I really appreciate that. We've certainly have spent many a day together next to the sporting field. So this is a very 2020 way of doing it. So I'm very honored to be here with the Chris Berger and Petra Jackson Players Fund, and then also BrightRock. Every year I look forward to the Women in Rugby breakfast, so I'm glad they found a way to adapt it and even make it stretch it out a bit so we can get to know these awesome ladies in rugby, their stories. That if you love rugby, you will love these ladies. So I'm very excited to be chatting to both of them. Both of them have gone through big changes throughout the last 2-3 years. We've got Saskia Snyman, who recently got married, moved to Japan, and then also moved to Ireland. And then we've got Layla Kolbe, Cheslin Kolbe's wife, of course, and she is having a second child now, and it was all during lockdown. All of this happened, and then she also managed to get back to France, and not even to mention that both of them were there in Japan when our boys won the Rugby World Cup for a third time. Oh, I love saying that. I'll never get tired of that, eh? Oh. I follow someone on Twitter, and they every day since the Boks won, they've posted a picture of that day. So I've seen all angles of the Rugby World Cup champions. So it's been a blessing to see that, and just to be part of that moment in South African rugby history. So I'm very honored to introduce Saskia Snyman and Layla Kolbe tonight. Saskia, I actually want to start with you because I was on your Instagram a bit earlier on, and I couldn't help but see your little meme, I think you'd call it, is Munster fans Googling how to donate your ACL. Because as we know, poor RG, 7 minutes into his first game with Munster, He's injured, unfortunately, and out for the rest of the year. So what a week it's been, Saskia. How are the Snymans doing?
The Snymans are doing just fine. It was a big disappointment, obviously. He was devastated. I think if you see the pictures, you can see he just wants to go back. But like he actually said, walking off, no, actually, Doc, I think it's fine. Maybe I can play again. Of course, you can't. But we're doing just fine. It's good to know that Munster has a plan for us. We've seen the surgeon, the doctors, the physios. So everyone's keeping us very well on track and very informed, because I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything. So they're also telling me and they're telling him. So it's nice to know there is a plan. So we're doing okay, granted. Yeah.
And then, you said earlier this week, I think we caught up quickly on Tuesday, you said you guys had to actually drive to Dublin to go see a surgeon and then drive back. So what is your role going to be during these months of rehabilitation in Arge's life? Because obviously, yes, he's got the team environment, but then he comes home and then you there. So are you going to have to drive him around, or what's on the schedule?
Yes, no, definitely number one is going to be Uber driver, first and foremost, because he can't drive. No, but I think I'm just going to be sort of more a mental backup. He's positive, luckily, but I also have some positivity I just kick in here. Yeah, because Munster has all the basics, all the scientific, all the medicals covered. I'm just here for support to make sure, you get back better, stronger. Yeah, Uber driver, maybe a little bit of a chef on the side, my little 2-minute noodles, that's me. That's what I have to offer.
I was about to say, I always wonder, like, what does someone like Arge, like, what does he eat? Like when he's in like rehab or whatever, like, is there a diet or not?
No, I think they would love to give us one, but obviously it's a bit difficult. We'll try and eat healthy-ish, but I don't think it's a, ABC, black and white type of thing. No, yes. I just enjoy braaibroodjies.
And that's good. At least you can have some braaibroodjies in Ireland. They wanted you guys, so they have to have braaibroodjies and braai, I'm assuming. And of course there's beer, so I think you'll be okay, hey?
You'll be fine, yeah.
Now, Layla, you also here. Layla Kolbe is here all the way from France. So we're a bit of like, we're all over the globe tonight. And Layla, thank you for joining us. I know you guys have gone through the last couple of months. I think you were on holiday in South Africa, and then you got stuck here in lockdown, and then you managed to get back to France. So how has the last couple of months been for the Kolbes?
Hi, everyone. So we flew to South Africa in Jan for 2 weeks. And I only packed clothes for 2 weeks for summer in Jan. And we flew to Berlin from South Africa in Feb for the Laureus Awards. Flew back, and then we were ready to leave to go to France. And then we waited for the president's speech, and we said, oh, lockdown. A part of me was like, yeah, can stay. Yeah. And then also a part of me was like, I have 2 weeks of clothes. The shops are all closed, so like, okay, fine, we're going to be locked down at home, but the weather started changing, and my body started changing, so I couldn't fit in anything. But it was good. We got the opportunity to spend time in South Africa. We moved into a new home in South Africa during lockdown. Didn't really see family that much because we couldn't travel, but it was good for us because we made a big decision to start. We were in the process of starting a foundation, and because of lockdown, we couldn't do that. We joined another foundation, and it was quite good for us to give back. So it wasn't just like sitting at home every day. And I think it was a very productive lockdown for us in South Africa. Our club here in France kept asking, when are we coming? When are we coming? So we would wait for the president's speech every time, and then we'll just send the speech to our coach. And so then we came, and life is totally normal here in France. Like, it's unbelievable. For us to come from South Africa, where everyone was quite cautious and wearing masks. I sanitize everything in our house. I spray down everything because I feel like I'm a bit high risk, but yeah, life is normal here. It's weird for me, but everyone seems to be fine. The cases are picking up quite, it's quite hectic now. So yeah.
And then in terms of, you mentioned that foundation that you were looking to start. Is it coming? Can we expect a foundation from you guys soon, or what's the plan?
Yes, so we're busy working on a foundation. It's focused on giving back to communities, rugby clubs in communities that are less fortunate, especially not only rugby clubs, but kids that can't afford shoes. And so we have this hand-me-down kind of shoes. We started collecting boxes of shoes from all our players here in France. And there's a few legends that gave their boots, their rugby boots. We will hand down to rugby clubs in South Africa, because many people, they play rugby in barefoot, or or kids walk to school with no shoes, or shoes that has been passed down. So we're trying to, that's one of our main projects, and then from there we'll see what happens next.
That's awesome. And then also having your second baby girl. So Cheslin's going to be in a house full of girls. What is his reaction?
No, like I know part, like myself as well, part of it, like we wanted a boy, but I mean, like you can't, I guess when we had the gender reveals, like what if it's another girl? What do I say like on the video? So I mean, like, it's all God's plan, and it's another girl. Tyler's very excited. She wanted a sister from the start. So I have 2 months to go.
So she sort of like willed it on. She wanted the sister, and she got her sister.
Well, the whole lockdown, she has a name already. She talks to her sister. She's planning everything. I mean, we go to the stores, the supermarkets, and she sees toys, but you know, like kids try and get toys for themselves. She'll be like, "That's for my sister. Can we buy it now?" And then I'm like, "Kyla, we have." She's like, "No, but it's for my sister." So like, it's getting a bit like I just want time to pass now. So
that's very cute. Oh, this is beautiful. This beautiful shoot you guys did when you were back in France, eh? Because this is gorgeous, the sunflowers.
Yeah, we have quite a few sunflower fields like all over Toulouse.
Oh, absolutely stunning. And then also, just, you know, from a personal perspective, both you ladies have degrees. And I know, as Saskia, you've actually enrolled into a university now to finish or get your honors degree in international business. Tell us about that, Saskia. What's your first degree, and what's the plan with the second one?
Okay, sure, yeah. So I did my undergraduate and honors in South Africa. Then it was a bit of a snaakse jaar. We moved obviously to Japan and all that stuff. So I figured I can't really start studying in Japan again. So my plan was always actually to involve myself in something, because I need to keep busy, especially with my mind. Otherwise I just sit around and, I don't know, online shop, I guess. So then when we got here to Ireland, I first actually tried for a job, but there's not many going around. Corona made it worse. And Limerick is a small city. There's not that many jobs available. So I decided, why not? Let's kick it off. Let's do international business. Figured I've been in 3 countries. I might have something, you know, I'm interested in it. So I thought, let's give it a go. So 1 more year, then I've got masters. And that's the plan for now.
And then do we see a Snyman empire one day? Like a business empire? Is that on the cards?
You know what? I'm more of the background face.
Fair enough.
I will join someone, definitely, but I don't know about me running a business.
That's good. And then also, for both of you ladies, but I'm going to start with you, Layla. Well, I know you put your career on hold, you know, with the family and to move to France and all of that. And you also want to, you know, take it a bit further. At the start for you, Layla, was it tough to, like, you know, give that up? And then, you know, kind of follow rugby, or how do you feel about that at the start?
Well, it still bothers me a bit. I think about it almost every day. I studied for 7 years to become a chartered accountant, and in my second year of articles at PwC, Cheslin got the contract at Toulouse, and it was a big decision. I sat with like most of the partners at the firm, and I was like, if I leave, can I come back? Does my career continue? Because I studied so long, it was a big sacrifice for me, because on my goal list was Minister of Finance.
Yes.
because I'm very into politics and stuff, and I just thought like, okay, my foot in the door is Minister of Finance, and which is probably impossible if you think about the way to get into politics in South Africa.
Yeah, fair enough.
My dream was like somewhere on top, and when I heard I'm moving to France, and you can't really practice in France if you're not qualified chartered accountant. The partners and stuff, I said quite a few meetings, and they said, look, put your family first, because this is time you won't get back. So you can stay in South Africa and miss out on your daughter having a relationship with a father in the beginning, and rugby is only a short, like their career is so short. So yeah, so
Photo. Fairy tale in Paris.
yeah, so like my partner, the partner is like the head of the firm, like an audit firm. So he told me like, go enjoy yourself, put your family first. Your career, like as in business, will always just continue when you come back. There's always going to be a job available for you. Or so it's like, okay, that was a bit of confirmation for me to go. So I just put everything on hold, literally, and so now I'm living here, housewife. Every girl's dream.
In France, in front of the Eiffel Tower. So at least the Instagram's looking good, eh? Tell me, Saskia, for you, how was it to deal with the fact that you maybe had to put some of your goals, as Layla did, on hold? Was it something, did it bother you? And how are you dealing with it now? Is it now that you're back to studying?
Yeah, I think rugby, especially for the women, the wives, it's kind of more about sacrifice, and I don't think everyone realizes that, because it is for now, not in future, but for now it definitely is kind of all about the boys. Obviously, this is their time to make their name for themselves. So it is a sacrifice to give up your career, your family, your friends, all the things you love back home, everything you used to. I mean, we had a house. I was so excited, our first house. You had to leave it there. So it is a sacrifice, but I think we all understand it, or we wouldn't have been here. No, so it's, I'm okay with it for now. We'll get back in 10 or 15 years and roles will reverse. So no, we're cool.
Well, and I mean, yeah, it's a big sacrifice. I can't imagine, leaving you can't just call your mom to come over, or your friends for a quick braai or whatever. I mean, everyone's so far away, and you kind of live in your own life and in another in a foreign country. So, I mean, that's quite hectic. But speaking of those sacrifices, whatever you two ladies did, it paid off, because both of your guys were in the Rugby World Cup winning squad and quite vital in that squad. So, I mean, talking Rugby World Cup, firstly, Layla, we know the team goes ahead. So, I mean, the families don't travel with the guys. I mean, that must be tough already. Now you had to travel with a toddler. Just in capital letters, how did you do that? All the way from South Africa to Japan without the daddy to say this or that, or give you a break. How?
Okay, so I forgot to share the picture of us traveling. Economy it was myself and Rachel, the Kulisis, and their kids. Economy with 4 suitcases, because children needed more clothes.
Okay.
So first of all, we had to cover everything. That's why we flew economy, and all the flights were full because everyone wanted to be there. And well, Kyla has I stop counting how many times she's flown. We're over the 100 tally already. Like, she's flown so many times.
Wow.
So she's a really good traveler. We left South Africa when she was 4 months. Yeah, so since she was 4 months, she's been fine in the airplane. Like, whenever we get on a flight, people start giving me looks. Like, you get those judgy eyes, and they're like, oh, because they see a toddler and stuff. And then after the flight, they come to me and they're like, oh, she was such a sweet girl. And I'm like, got all the looks the whole time. But like, she's a good traveler. We were fine traveling. I think it was a long flight to Japan. That's the only thing that, like, so when we stopped over in Dubai, we got a bit of a chill time. Dubai is a nice area for kids to play and stuff. I think we're a bit exhausted, and then we landed in Kobe in Japan just when there was the big storm. So that was a bit nerve-wracking for us. The windows were shaking. I'm not sure if Saskia was in Kobe. Were you there when there was the big storm? Yeah.
Yes, I was, yeah.
So there was this big storm. We weren't that badly affected though. Just the windows were rattling and it was quite windy outside. And yeah, but traveling it's okay. I'm used to it. We travel, we like half of the year we're in South Africa, half of the year we're in France because of international now for the past 2 years. It was a big change for us because, to be honest, I'm just going to let it out there now. In 2017, we left South Africa. We were like, like Cheslin didn't give up his dream to become a Springbok, but it was always there. But we were like, he's not going to sit and wait to be called up or anything. So we left France and we would like watch the Springboks on TV and support. But we were just like chilled. We were like, oh, this is life. Like we won't be there. And then 2018, he got his call up. We couldn't believe it. We were sitting on the couch and we got a call and we're like, it's not true. It's probably a lie again, you know. And then his coach spoke to him when he went to training and they're like, oh, did you get the call? And he's like, what call? And they're like, you're going to South Africa. You're going to bring us biltong. And Cheslin was like, what are you talking about? And then Rassie contacted him and stuff. So then it was like all for us. And then we started making plans like, oh, we need to go back to South Africa now. So it was a big change for us because, I mean, I was focused on learning French here, but because of all the traveling, my French is really bad. But it's good. I think it was a good break for Cheslin, so yeah.
Yeah, and I want to ask you about that because over the years, I've managed, luckily enough, to chat to Cheslin, and from his perspective, how tough it was to sit in a stadium and watch the Springboks play in front of you. How tough as a wife was it to watch that, his dream possibly, you know, run away and not be part of it? And then looking now where he's, I mean, he's won a World Cup.
Yeah, so in 2018 in June, it was Sia's first game running out as captain of the Springboks. So we flew to South Africa to watch his first game. It was in Ellis Park. And we sat like a normal, we got tickets from Sia, we sat in the stadium like normal, and we just watched to support Sia. I mean, like this is we're just like their supporters. And I don't know, like a part of me accepted that this is it, like he's not a Springbok, even though like in France he's hailed as like, he's amazing here, like people follow us everywhere. It's like we thought like it will be chilled when we move to France, no one knows us, but it's the total opposite. It's worse than South Africa. It's wherever we go, it's quite like everyone knows Cheslin. So for us to go to South Africa and sitting in a stadium where we just a spectator it was hard for me because I know Cheslin's potential, and when I saw them running out, I was like, oh, this could have been him, but I wouldn't put that in his mind because it affects him mentally. So like, I know like he's doing his best and stuff like that. It's up to the coach or whoever is the selectors and stuff. So we just like kept, for me, I kind of, to be honest, I kind of like gave up hope, but I knew Cheslin because whenever he did an interview, he would always say like his dream is always to put the green and gold on. And I was like, oh yeah, like hopefully one day, but I don't think the South Africans' perspective of size would change in rugby and stuff. So for us, when we got the call from Rassie, it was quite a shock. I was like, it can't be, especially because the World Cup is coming up, like no way. But yeah, I think it's all God's plan. I mean, I believe a lot in praying and stuff. So yeah.
That's very special. And I mean, yeah, whatever you did behind the scenes, keeping him mentally sharp, it worked. I mean, geez, it must be just awesome to be able to know that he scored in the Rugby World Cup final. Never mind, just was there. He was a part of it. Saskia, do you remember where you were when you heard RWC get his first Springbok call up, and how did it feel for the both of you?
No, I actually don't think I was with him. And most likely, the first person he would have told would have been our best friend, or his best friend, Jason. I don't think I would have been his first call. But of course, we were excited. I mean, I don't actually think it was so much on my mind yet. I think I was still focusing on us being kind of young.
Yeah.
And our age doesn't really matter, but I think I was still thinking we're a little bit young, and it was obviously exciting. I think his parents, they have more of a grasp on it. They love rugby, they're dedicated to it, they enjoy watching it. So I think they had more of that almost like a longing moment to share with him. I was just excited. Obviously, it's very cool to see him there, but I didn't have that. I don't know what, I think it was more special for them that really are dedicated to it, you know.
And while you were in Japan for the Rugby World Cup, you were actually, I mean, secretly on the download planning a wedding. At that point, did RWC even know you were getting married like a month or so later? And did he have any say or want any say at that moment? Because he must have been focused during that time.
Not really. I was very chilled. I think everyone will probably tell you that. I don't know. I wasn't panicking.
Layla's nodding there. So, I mean, okay.
I think it was actually good to have a World Cup in the middle of a wedding, because then there was not really time to panic on it. But Shane, he didn't really have much interest, obviously, in table decorations and, you know, things like that. I think we decided on the guest list and the bar together, and that was about it. The rest I could just choose by myself. So it was actually the way I wanted it as well.
A breeze, you could in control. Okay, I love that. So just plan a World Cup next time anyone wants to get married and your partner's a Springbok. Plan it in between. Now speaking of that, I've always wanted to ask, like in terms of the day of the final, obviously you know the build up, a lot of hype around the box, but also you know you were the underdogs. England were absolutely amazing. On the day, were you guys able to see, you know, Cheslin or RWC, or how does match day and a final of Rugby World Cup work? Layla, I see you laughing, so I'll start with you.
Okay, so I think we were the only team at the World Cup that could actually share a room with your partner.
Okay.
So
wow.
I know New Zealand, England, they were all in separate hotels. We could actually share the room with. I think Rassie was quite big on family and support, and during the World Cup, that's why they were quite like supportive when we were there, while we were there and stuff. So we were the only team, I guess. For me, it was a bit like, should I be here? Should I leave the room? I'm not sure. Like, I mean, because that kind, like, there was people with kids in the room, and so I'm like, surely the coach should feel a bit uncomfortable about this, because we're all in one room, and I can tell you, not all the hotel rooms are that great in Japan. But but so what happened was that the week of the final, we swap every week. We swap hotels with the other team. So the week of the final, England went to our old hotel and we went to their new hotel. So we went to the Disney hotel, which was quite nice, and they went to our not so nice hotel that we just came from. So for me, that was already like a sign, like, oh, it's the final, and here we're moving to a nice hotel. They're moving to a not good hotel, and so that was already like a sign for me. The morning, I think, I don't know, we try and keep out, like I try to keep out of Cheslin's way during the day, especially just to keep his mind focused when they come and go in the hotel room, maybe to shower or something in between. So we will be out. I mean, like Saskia knows, like we try and make plans during the day just to be out and like as tourists in Japan, and at night, sometimes we'll have dinner with the boys and stuff like that. So the morning of the final was just like in our room, was just peaceful. I played gospel music the whole day, the whole morning. Like we just did a prayer, and then I just let Cheslin, like I don't want to put too much on his mind or anything. It was just peaceful, and that's it.
And Saskia, how was your approach the morning of the final?
Yeah, we were calm, because you wake up. Let's say you push till 9, obviously you have so much nerves and excitement that you don't really sleep. So you'll wake up max 9, let's say. So you have a long day to wait. And you don't think, you can't go have drinks. You can't really go do an adventure. You can't really leave the hotel, because if you get stuck in traffic somewhere or anything happens, so you actually just wait in the hotel room the whole day. So everything was just the same as it was. I went to have breakfast with the girls like we did every morning. He did the same with the boys, same thing every morning. We walked to get a Starbucks. You know, it's obviously you answering about 20,000 good luck phone calls, which is nice. But it's calm. I think if you treat it different to any other day, maybe there's like a bit of panic, or so we didn't. It was the same as any other match day.
Now, I want to know from you ladies as well, is because, I mean, obviously hearing from the guys over the last couple of months or so, and I'm assuming we're going to see it in the documentary also coming out very soon of the Springboks and this awesome experience, is they said they had a feeling, man. They had a feeling they were going to win this. Saskia, did the ladies, did you at breakfast share that feeling? Or was it not like a when we win and not a if we win? And how was it?
I think it is definitely a when we win situation. But maybe it's just a trying to convince yourself thing. But I think we knew we were ready. For me, the biggest match was the Japan game, because we were hosted in Japan. The vibe was for Japan. The energy was for Japan. So I'm sure maybe the other girls, I think, also share the sentiment. Once we won Japan, I don't really think there was a question for us anymore. We just kind of knew, okay, well, full stream ahead, we're going to win this. And I think everyone felt that way, girls and guys, definitely.
Layla?
What was your question now?
It's fine. No, it's just, when we win. When you win, not if you win.
I was very confident about that. Like, I didn't ever doubt changing my flight ticket to earlier, or if we lose the quarterfinal or the semi-final, I might have to change my ticket.
Yeah.
It was always booked for the day after the final. And I don't know, I was super confident. I knew we were going to win. I just had this feeling. And I think during the World Cup, I was like, it brought me closer to God as a family. So we would pray every day. And Cheslin for us, it was quite stressful, because he didn't play the semi-final. He played the final. So the semi-final, I was already like, oh, if he doesn't play the semi-final, he might not play the final, because obviously the coach wants someone that's fit, that was match fit. So every day, Cheslin would come to the room, because he had an injury, an ankle injury. And I could see it was really affecting his mind. And to me, I'm like, oh, I don't want, because if you get injured at the World Cup and you don't train the Monday, you have to fly home. That was the rule, something like that.
Yo.
And he was like, I need to run by tomorrow. I need to run. And I was like, okay, fine. So he was at the physio the whole day, whole night. He would just sit by the physio, and we would ice and stuff like that. And there was one day when we knew that tomorrow it's either you run or you don't run. And every day I'll ask him, so how's your foot? And he's like, oh, it's still sore, but no one knows what's wrong. Like, the doctors can't say there's nothing wrong with his foot. It must be bone bruising or something, but he can't put pressure on his foot. And I told Kyla, Daddy's foot is sore. And so she just went and she put her hand on it, and she closed her eyes. I don't know what happened. She just put her hand on it and she closed the eyes, and then she's like, amen. And then I knew his foot is going to be fine. And then the next day I went out, whatever, and I came back and I was like, so did you run? He's like, yes. And I'm like, and he's like, I felt nothing. She's like, shoot, we're staying. And then I knew, like, we're going to win. And yeah, so I think I was very confident. I think all of us, like, I think all the girls, there wasn't a time when we were like, oh, I'm so nervous or anything. It must have been just, I think the quarterfinal match, I think it was New Zealand and, who was it? Ireland and New Zealand?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we watched it in the hotel room. Everyone was in the hotel rooms, all the boys, everyone. We're just watching, because it's like, either way, it's a tough one. Like,
yeah, either way.
We're going to play Ireland in the semi-final, like something like that. I think it was that. Or it was Wales. Yes, it was Wales. So we just sat and watched it in the Japan, and we could hear everyone screaming when whatever team lost, I can't remember. And then we knew, okay, it's on our side. Like, we're going to win this now. Like, I don't know. Everyone was confident. And I feel like the coach is the most chilled coach. I've never seen Rassi stressed or anything. He's just like smiling, or he's just chilled. He doesn't speak much. And so I think that also, like, is really good on the boys.
Yeah, it really is a testament to the environment that Rassi for the team in camp, outside of camp, and then obviously extended to their families, because I mean everyone's part of it. Rugby is a team sport, so to have everyone involved in this win. So coming back to South Africa, with that, knowing that, and again the guys flew ahead of you guys came a bit later. What did that mean to you to be part of something that big in South Africa and see what it did? Yeah, what did it mean to you, Layla? I think you posted a photo, but you and Desmond Tutu as well at one of the trophy tour, which was quite, very cool.
What is it called? The Rugby World Cup, the people that host the World Cup, they book your flights to go back home, not ours, but the boys. And they had little faith in South Africa winning. I'm going to let it out. I'm letting everything out. It's out there, we won. So
throw them under the bus. Tell us the truth.
So they booked their return flights for the quarterfinal already to go back home.
Wow.
When they won, we weren't all, like the boys weren't all on the same flight because there was no more flights for them to go back home. And so they all flew in groups back home on different airlines, different times. It was a real big confusion, but they expected maybe New Zealand or England to win the World Cup. So yeah. So honestly, we were the underdogs of this World Cup. If you sit in the, I'll answer your question now, but if you sit in the stadium on the final, the Japanese, everyone, they had England flags on their cheeks. It was just England, and they were singing the chariot.
Yeah.
It was really, and we had English people behind us, and they weren't saying good things, and I kept turning around and looking at them like, oh, and every time an England player and there was one England player that got injured really bad, and I turned around and I was like, oh, this is us, we've got this, and then they were just quiet after that. When the tries started coming, and then Andre was kicking over, and I knew we got this and stuff. So I was the most chilled on the day of the final. I just sat there. Normally I'm shouting at the ref, and because the ref was never on our side in this World Cup. So I'm normally shouting, and it's always a French ref, and I'm like, if I see this man in France, I'm gonna say this and that. But somehow the finals, it just worked out for us. We were the underdogs. Your ears literally just blocked. You closed off all the sound because you just saw England and you saw red and white. And because South Africans, there weren't many fans of South Africa and Japan. I mean, not everyone can afford to go to Japan. And I think England had the upper hand because they're more well off to get there, more advantage and stuff. So privilege. So yeah, it was more, I think we were the biggest supporters, the wives and the families being there. I think that played a very important role. And coming back home, we flew, we landed, I think we all planned on, we're going to do the bus tour everywhere we go. We're going to Eastern Cape, we're going to go everywhere. But then I think it was a bit tiring for us all. We're like, oh, we'll wait for Cape, I'll wait for Cape Town. And it was next level. Honestly, I've never seen, we won the top 14 in France in June, that's last year. And yeah, it isn't crazy. It was absolutely packed, but this Cape Town was next level. People were standing on buildings, on windows, on whatever they could find, on trees. It was like, oh, we're driving. I'm just like, look there, it's crazy. It was really honestly, if it wasn't for COVID, I think this World Cup could have done a lot for our country, more for our country. I feel like our win has been put on hold from this COVID, could have done a lot more, but yeah.
Saskia, what was your experience, or what did you feel when you came back and you knew RWC was part of that team, you were part of that team, and what it did for South Africa?
Yeah, well, the weirdest thing is obviously we just won, the night of winning, and you're getting messages and phone calls, and everyone's just telling you have such a lekker jol, enjoy, celebrate, and we all just kept feeling. Actually, the celebration is at home. You seeing people's stories, you seeing the videos they send you, and you just want to actually be home because the vibe that they had at home, I think that carried us through. And when you got home, you felt it. I mean, we're not really even anyone. We're the wives, and you get 40 messages from people that you had, I think, primary school with, telling you good luck, telling good luck and thank you. And it was kind of crazy. I couldn't even go on the, what did you call it? The bus? I don't know.
The bus tour.
Yeah, I didn't go on any of those, but I mean, just seeing the photos and the videos, I think RG lost a cap, RG lost a cap, threw it to the crowd, and the one guy just said, can I actually keep it? He just kept the cap, anything they wanted, just to celebrate with us. It was, no, it's very cool.
So with that win, obviously the level of fame and their well-knownness that's a horrible word, but you know what I mean, has been elevated because of the Rugby World Cup. So with that, I want to know, Saskia, and Layla, but I think you're more used to it, Layla, in France maybe, because Cheslin's obviously very prominent there and all of that. But Saskia, what is a good way for, let's say, for you know, a rugby fan, to approach the Snymans out in public without annoying you or making RG feel embarrassed or whatever? Is there a little how to approach a Rugby World Cup winning player out in public?
I mean, I think this is probably just a life rule, but we've had a lot of PG's and MG's, so I think getting the name right, big check. But obviously you understand people are excited, they want to take photos, they're not there out of any malicious or /say intent. So I think it's very easy if they just ask you politely. I think it's nice when they greet me as well, because that doesn't always happen. So if they just greet both of us, you know, say hello, please, can you take a photo? I mean, 99% of the time I will offer to take the picture just to make it easy. You understand, they're just excited. They just want a little bit of continuous celebration. So it's easy, just be polite. No.
Layla, agree?
I don't, to me, I just move out of the way. I'm like, it's fine, because it's especially like, it's mostly for Cheslin, it's the younger kids that always, or the parents who push their son and like take a picture. And for me, like, I know like Cheslin growing up, that was a big thing for him, like looking up at his rugby stars and stuff. So I know like what the shoes that those kids are in, just wanting to see Cheslin and stuff like that. So I always just like, oh, no problem. But sometimes they're like, can you all be in the picture? And I'm like, no, I'm not the famous one. Like, it's fine. I don't want to be in your picture and stuff. But the only thing is I just don't want my daughter in the pictures. And most of the time she's with him. And she struggles a bit to understand, because I try to take her away. And then she's like, no, she wants to be there. So in most of his fan pictures, she's in there. So that bothers me a bit. But other than that, I feel like their career is so, it's like a short, their career span is so short. And I mean, like, make the most of it. The kid, like, this is, that one photo can change their life. I mean, they can put it up on the wall, and that could be what they're working towards, you know? So like, I'm just like, do it, like, this is your life, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we all saw that photo of Sia and Skuldberger, you know, back in the day. Like, I mean, that's a classic now. And yeah, that's it. So, okay. So guys, everyone watching, you know, now you know how to approach either RG or Cheslin in public, because, you know, we all want it for the gram. I'm not going to lie. I love posting pictures with people. But throughout these photos you have sent us and whatever, it's very clear that there's a very strong bond between the woman behind the scenes. So, Layla, who's your support squad, and how important is that to be able to fall back on, or when you have a tough day?
So when I think it was Cheslin's first tournament with the Springboks, they had a women's breakfast in Johannesburg. And that's when I got to be around. Like, I always heard through Rachel or whatever, like the Springboks, we're going to the Springboks this and the Springboks that. And I was like, oh, cool. And then when I actually went to this breakfast and I met all the girls, I was like, wow, I've never felt this before. I went home and I was like, this is amazing. Like, I don't know them at all. And I'll probably only see them like once or twice a year. But already at the breakfast, I felt like, this is amazing. Like, I can't explain like the atmosphere around with all the girls, but we just like click. And I think Japan just made it even better. Like, we just like did this. I have a child. Saskia has no kids and stuff, but Saskia was carrying strollers up subways in Japan. Like, it's just like we all just support each other. And I mean, I feel like they made us feel really comfortable. We all come from different backgrounds and we all have different accents. I pick all of this up. So I'm like, oh, maybe like the Springbok wives are, but like, you know, I mean, like, I'm new to this, like, I'm not sure how it is, but everyone is just like, we're just ourselves, and it's amazing. Like, honestly, I can't explain it to you. And I think the main person that held us together is Anne Lee. She's our Springbok mom. And I was always like afraid of her, because I'm like, she's been here like so long. She's been here like when Scout Burger started. And here I come, and she's probably going to be like, but she's amazing. Like we went to Laureus Awards and I flew with Annelie to Berlin and got to know her and stuff. And I'm like, she's no longer working for the Springboks, but she's still behind the scenes, still messaging us. She's still, how are you? Good luck for this, good luck for that. So I think she kept us all together. She still does it, yeah.
Well, and actually we had a chat with her, Jeremy and them, and Kola. I had a chat with Annie last week. So, I mean, it's special that you said that now. Saskia, for you, who are your people and how, also moving from South Africa to Japan and then to Ireland, who was there for you and how did you know, because sometimes RG or Chase, they're not there to help with all the other little messy bits in between because they have to go play. So who are your people and how important are they to you?
Okay, yeah, definitely. So there are a few women in rugby who you need a close connection with the women in rugby as well, because they are going through similar situations that you are. But then I also have a lot of friends that aren't involved in rugby, which I actually enjoy and appreciate, because that's a whole different aspect. I mean, your life still has to stay in somewhat normal, things at home still going on, even if you're not there. So I appreciate both sides of my friends and my family being involved. If I have a certain issue, I'll actually call both of them, both parts of my friends, rugby and non-rugby, and get two opinions or however many it may be. Because I think it's good to just realize you're not the only one going through something. There is definitely someone else who maybe has something worse going on. They won't tell you maybe. So then you'll kind of just bring yourself back to reality and think, okay, you know, I'm actually doing very fine.
Yeah. I'm so glad there is, because I mean, naturally you guys are the support squad of the guys we see out on the field and all of that, and we don't always see you guys, but then you also need support. So it's awesome to hear that there are people having your back as well, like you have Argia and Chaselin's back. So yeah, ladies, thank you very much. If there's anyone watching who has a question for Saskia or Layla, as you can see, they're chatty. Layla's just letting it all out. So let us know if you have a question in the chat box. But thank you so much, ladies. And we see you and we appreciate you. And I can't wait to see I'm excited to see the business you're going to build, Saskia, and the next 5 degrees Layla's probably going to get. So thank you so much for chatting to us tonight on the Women in Rugby.
Thanks very much, Cato and Saskia and Layla. Very interesting. Lots of secrets were let out the bag. I'm very excited. I've made lots of notes. There's content here for me for at least the next year. And I think that Layla, Kyla must send her CV in immediately as Springbok physio. I mean, if all she needs to do is put her hand on his foot and just say a quick prayer, it's sorted. We've got this thing under control. I like it. I've got to tell you, as we've gone through these 4 weeks of Women in Rugby, Janina Banner mentioned it as well. She was talking to Brian Banner just before their 2007 final, and there was similar kinds of quiet confidence that we went into the 2019 final with as well, where there was a case of going, you know what, I think we're going to win this. And clearly we won it. So that's how it happens. And so I think that the power of the women in rugby must not be underestimated. We've seen it work at least for the last 2 Rugby World Cup final victories for the Springboks, and certainly would have played a role in 1995 as well. So thanks to all of our guests. I'm gonna say a parting thanks to them right at the end. But Terry, if I could get that donation slide up on the screen again, just one more time, please, because folks, I do want to draw a circle over this and around it, because ultimately the function over these last few weeks, and 4 weeks rather, has been all about the Chris Berger Petro Jackson Players Fund. We speak about the 107 recipients, and you know, I think that there's so much amazing work that's done. There we go. That's the donate slide. It's as I said at the outset of this evening, very easy to do. Small amounts, big amounts, enormous amounts. And particularly at a time now where the fund is stymied a little bit by the fact that the coronavirus has meant that there's no rugby being played. SA Rugby also not being able to maybe make the same sort of grant payments to the fund. and just economic effects on the needier recipients have sort of been exacerbated a bit. So if there's an opportunity to put some money into the kitty here, it would be greatly appreciated. EFT, SnapScan, or Zapper. And we talk about the 107 recipients. I can't show you photographs of all 107 recipients, but I can show you some of them. And the kind of fact or feel that you get from these is the listen, I love the sport. I will never walk away from the sport. And of course, the support from previous and current BOK players is amazing. That is probably one of my favorite picks right there. Living his best life, you know, just obviously all due to the great work that gets done by the team at the Players Fund. I know there was one other one. There we go. Mobile, doesn't matter where you are, we will live our best possible life. Quality of life is obviously the most important thing here. And I just cannot stress enough the opportunities created, the experience created by the Players Fund. So if you are able to support them, please do so. That's the slide you need to particularly take note of, but certainly on the Players Fund website and on their Facebook page as well, all of the details in terms of donating, please do that. Also, I think I sort of maybe rushed through the support from BrightRock. I want to just thank them. It's an obvious statement to make, but you know, in sport, in business, the support of a sponsor is enormous. And to find a sponsor who is prepared to walk the long road with you is not always the easiest thing. However, the team at BrightRock have done just that. Very, very much bought into the vision and the good work that gets done by Gail and by Tori and Aisha and the rest of the team out at the Chris Berger Petro Jackson Players Fund, and support them through small projects, big events, and certainly have supported them this month, this Women's Month, through the Women in Rugby webinar series. So a big thanks to the team out at BrightRock. Also, I must mention, it's just interesting to note that this coming Sunday, so what is the date? It's the 30th of August, will mark, sadly, but importantly, the 40th anniversary of that very untimely death of Chris Berger, 40 years ago. And there in the Sunday Times this coming Sunday is a special supplement dedicated to the Chris Berger Petro Jackson Players Fund. I would ask you all to go and buy at least 75 Sunday Times each. So just to support them, to support the fund, and to just I think send out the message that you know, the fund is in need of support. This is the way we can do it as well. Please at least get one Sunday Times this past weekend. And it's probably an easy ask for some of you. It's staple diet on Sunday. It's the coffee, it's the Kosista, it's the Sunday Times. Those are the three things you need before sort of 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And then after that, it's anybody's guess. Your mother's roast and potatoes, whatever. That's fine. Whatever you do afterwards, that's also okay. I don't mind. So those are the things that I just wanted to mention before we get to. There we go. Steed says he's going to pick up a Sunday Times. Thank you very much, Steed. Steed, by the way, was the winner of last week's Dance Cam stroke Kiss Cam. And I couldn't have asked for a better segue. So thank you for sending that message to Steed, because it's the Dance Cam, Kiss Cam moment now. But before you get all excited, before I put the record on the needle on the record, let me tell you what today's prize is. Please, everybody, turn your cameras on, because between myself and Simon Carl, who's watching quietly in the background, we are going to be judging. We are going to be judging. Okay, Tori will also be judging. She's eating a Steers burger at the moment, so she might not be able to necessarily judge with any kind of reliability, but nonetheless, there it is. The prize for today is a beautiful Carol Boys water jug. We will send it to the winner. The instruction is dance like nobody is watching. Unfortunately, we are watching, but dance like nobody is watching. A beautiful Carol Boys water jug, and we want to thank the donor there in terms of getting that supplied to us, and that will come to whoever gets stuck in 110%. It would have to be 110%. 109% is unfortunately not going to be good enough. So with that, DJ, spin that wheel.
It might
Well done, everybody. Good performance. There were some standout performers, but most of you at least made the 110% mark. As it turns out, at least one of you went past 110%. So let me tell you just quickly, it's a Carol Boys water jug. I mean, it's something special, and you'd be supporting a very special fund and initiative which started 40 years ago. Which is going to have a particularly special day come this particular Sunday. Please get hold of the Sunday Times. And in terms of getting hold of this Carol Boys water jug, well, that will go to Shanae Cornelissen. What? Can we get her? Is there a picture of Shanae? She's on Marnus's account.
On whose account?
Marnus.
M-A-R.
M-A-R.
Marnus Cornelius.
So she was dancing with it. There we go. There, Shanae, well done to you. You were tricky because you called in a backup dancer, but that technically in the rules is allowed. Backup dancer, super talented. So between the two of you, good job. Between the two of you, you've now picked up the Carol Boys water jug. I wish you lots of many hours of admiration on that jug, but certainly good use of it as well. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to wrap it up. I see Steve's got the fire going. The braai is all happening. We'll meet there in about 15, 20 minutes time. Please hurry over to his house. And I will send out the address details very shortly. And just one more word of thanks, firstly, to our guests for tonight. So to Saskia Snyman, Layla Kolbe, thank you, ladies. You were brilliant. Lots of amazing stories. And stories we've never heard before. So thank you so much. To Cato, who made it sound like there were three of you sitting in a coffee shop, chatting away. I mean, that's what she does. It's the one. There we go. It was magnificent. Thank you. I would have expected nothing less. And I think to all of you who in some way, shape or form have been involved, maybe for more than just tonight. So maybe you were a guest. I saw Anne Lee Murray. She was part of the audience this evening, but she was also a guest a couple of weeks ago. But just for our various viewers who have been with us, maybe for all 4 weeks, I'm not sure, but maybe for more than just tonight's webinar, thank you so much for your support. I'm going to be shameless and ask for as many potential and then eventual donations to the fund. And to be able to donate to the good and hard work that the team does out at the Chris Berger Petro Jackson Players Fund. I must thank the team from the fund, Gail, Tori, Aisha, we love you. You guys do amazing work, but it's not only us that love you, it's the 107 recipients and their family who love you and the great work that you do. You are all three angels, and so thank you very much for all that you do. Yeah, that's it. I've enjoyed this. I've been part of this from the first webinar, and so I've enjoyed being the rose amongst the thorns. Oh, sorry, what I meant was the thorn amongst the roses. That was not a deliberate mistake. But I look forward to other events that the fund organizers look forward to being there. Couture, I love you, and I'll see you guys all again soon. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Nkosi sigelela i-Afrika sicela ukuthula nothandobo Nkosi sigelela i-Afrika malubana ngisu khangalayo izwa imithandazo yethu Nkosi sigelela thina lusapho lwayo Morena buluka sichaba sayesu ufe
Well, I think that's it for the day. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to shut the meeting and we'll hopefully meet up at some other things soon. Cheers, Mary.